Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een, wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin, thumma amma ba'd. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a guide in Al-Quran. And this guide is supposed to last till the end of time. And that is why when we are in this particular situation, point in time, this vitriolic, political landscape that is leading to so much xenophobia that has resulted in the loss of one of our ai in America. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him amongst the shuhada. I mean, we should not fear, we should not cower, we should not retreat back to our houses and not come out, because the message the killer is trying to send is that this is what terrorism is about. They're trying to terrorize Muslims now. And regardless of the motive of the shooter, you don't walk up to somebody and shoot them in the head. There's a execution style. There's a clear motive to that, and we don't care what their state of mind is. The purpose of their action is intimidation, and to do it in broad daylight too. It wasn't like at night. This was like around 1:30 p.m. It is to terrorize Muslims, whether the media calls it so, whether law enforcement calls it so. Okay. Before I get to addressing that in a bit, now let's talk about, well, how did believers react in the past when they were under intimidation? And how do we speak truth to power when we see the rise of a tyrant? Brothers and sisters, America is watching the rise of a potential tyrant that wants to rule us. And that is pretty clear. And none of us should just sit quietly about it. We all have a right, we all have a responsibility to make sure that our voices are heard as well. Now let's take an example. Allah has revealed Quran. The Quran is supposed to last till the end of time, which means that in the Quran there are lessons for every circumstance that we will face today, tomorrow, and till the end of time. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Quran. My dear respected brothers and sisters, how do we stand up with courage under such adversity? It's very difficult. And as Imam Jamal said, we're all getting warnings. I myself are getting the warning. Oh, brother, be careful. Am I supposed to be careful not to come to the masjid anymore? You see? That's the danger in what the perpetrator did, to make sure that every Muslim is afraid if they step outside of their home. Yes, people are telling me, you have to have a bodyguard or something. I have kiram and katibin. They are here to protect me. They have also other things that protect us. I'm saying it's the qadr of Allah. I'm not saying we should be reckless. I am saying if we all are to conclude that we should all stay home, then the perpetrators have achieved their goal. None of us should stay home. In fact, more of us should come to the masjid. More of us should come to the masjid. Now, let's put this in context for us all. Where do we find courage? I wanted us to reflect upon the example of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam is one of the anbiya that was sent to give da'wah to the tyrant of tyrants, Fir'aun, la'natullahi alayh. Fir'aun was known, and all the pharaohs that came, each one of them tries to outdo the other in their tyranny. You have to look at how Musa addressed delivering the message. Look at Fir'aun's response to the message. You will see how we're being affected today. And then you can see the courage of one person to be able to stand up, not Musa, but someone else than Musa, to be able to stand up to the tyranny as a voice of reason. Okay? Now, let's take a look at Surat Ash-Shu'ara. In it, Allah gave us part of the story of Musa alayhi salam. And also we'll take a look parts of Surah Al-A'raf. And then we'll look at Surah Az-Zukhruf. The story of Musa is all over the Quran. But if you look at these different milestones, we put it together, you'll see something interesting. Musa was born in Egypt. And by the qadr of Allah, grew up in the house of the Pharaoh. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He had made this plan for Musa to be there in advance. In the household of Fir'aun. Imagine if he wasn't. He would easily be killed. Subhanallah. Allah planted him in the house of Fir'aun, in the bedroom of Fir'aun. If you think about it, Asya wanted him saved. Fir'aun wanted to kill him, but he said, no, don't kill him, maybe we'll take him as a son. Take him as a son, subhanallah. That Musa, things happened, left Egypt, came back. Allah sent him on a mission now. Now listen to this part of the story Allah is telling us from Surah Al-Shu'ara. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وإذ نادى ربك موسى أن ائت القوم الظالمين قوم فرعون ألا يتقون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after he commissioned Musa as a Nabi, remember Musa was traveling in the dark, cold desert. They lost their way. They needed warmth. Allah used fire in the yonder to attract Musa. So when Musa came, Allah revealed himself to Musa. Then afterwards, Allah gave him this mission. You have to go back to Egypt, and then you have to, release Bani Israel from the bondage they were upon. So Allah is sending him to a people are called Qawm al-Zalimin. These are wrong evildoers. They are oppressing other people. Qawm Fir'aun, the people of Fir'aun. And you have to make them have taqwa. You remind them of it. Ala yattaqun. Musa's first response to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being given such a great mission, Musa already knows what Fir'aun is capable of doing. Subhanallah. Look at why Allah put Musa in the household of the Pharaoh. To know exactly the type of person you're going to meet. قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَن يُكَذِّبُونَ. He says, oh my Lord, I fear that they're going to deny me. وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي فَأَرْسِلْ إِلَى هَارُونَ. And, I don't feel that I have the strength to do this. يَضِيقُ صَدْرِي means that my chest is tight. It means that I'm not sure if I'm emotionally capable for this. وَلَا يَنْطَلِقُ لِسَانِي. And I am not eloquent. فَأَرْسِلْ إِلَى هَارُونَ. So make Harun, give that part of that mission to Harun. Subhanallah. Do you know of a brother that has so much goodwill for another brother? If Allah made you a Nabi, would you say, oh Allah, my brother too is actually more capable in some areas? فَأَرْسِلْهُ مَعْيَ رِدَ أَن يُصَدِّقُنِي. He said in Surah Al-Qasas. وَأَشْرِكْهُ فِي أَمْرِي. Make him part of this mission. Allahu Akbar. So Musa needs help. Allah will give him the help. Yes, your brother will be commissioned to go with you. And I like the dua he made in Surah Taha. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. By the way, يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي is a dua for the people of Fir'aun, so that they understand what I say. Subhanallah al-Azim. Even has goodwill for the people. He said, Allah, make my words comprehensible to them. Allahu Akbar. Now Musa comes to Egypt. فَأْتِيَا فِرْعَوْنَ فَقُولَا. They both came to Fir'aun and they said, إِنَّا رَسُولُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. We are messengers from Allah, the Lord of the multiverse. And all they asked for, أَنْ أَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. For you to release Bani Israel with us. We're not here to make trouble. We're not here to change social order. We're not even here to change your society. We just want to leave. Then Fir'aun starts to remind Musa, قَالَ أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا وَلَبِثْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمُرِكَ سِنِينَ. Oh, did we not raise you up? You see, you were a child we found somewhere, we picked you up, we did all this good for you. See, reminding him already of the favors. Okay, so Musa didn't deal with that. So come now the issue of then how do you engage in dialogue with the tyrant? So Fir'aun asked Musa a question. قال فرعون وما رب العالمين. What's this Lord of the multiverse? Who are you talking about here? And there's a reason why Fir'aun is asking Musa this question. Because Fir'aun in his mind, he is أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. Because the Pharaoh considers himself the God of the people. That's why the Pharaoh is worshipped. Even when they're dead, they bury all the servants with them. I mean, can you imagine being a servant of a Pharaoh? And you, as soon as they die, you all have to go be buried with them, so that you can serve them in the hereafter. Subhanallah. Why would you need servants in the hereafter? I just don't know. Human servants. So they do this. So, subhanallah. But Fir'aun, he's saying, I am your Lord, so what's this other God you're talking about? Musa says, قَالَ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِن كُنتُم مُوقِنِينَ. The Lord I'm talking about is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and everything else in between, if you have yaqeen. So Musa is saying, I don't know what God you think you are. I don't know what gods are here. I am just here to represent the creator of the heavens and the earth. He's the one that sent me. This is the God above all that you consider to be a God. Fir'aun's first response, and I want you to connect that with what's happening to what you see in the media politically. قَالَ لِمَنْ حَوْلَهُ أَلَا تَسْتَمِعُونَ. Immediately Fir'aun looks around the people with, in his circle. Did you hear what this guy just said? If you notice, sometimes the tyrant, they by themselves are weak. Their ideas come from the people around them. He immediately starts to look at the people around him. Did you hear what he just said? He claims that there's this Rabbul Alameen. Musa did not respond to that. Musa continues to explain which Lord is he talking about. قَالَ رَبُّكُمْ وَرَبُّ آبَائِكُمُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. It is your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers. So the Lord of the universe is also the Lord of all of us. Your people, my people, you, and all your predecessors. And now, Fir'aun takes it a step further by saying, Inna rasulakum alladhi ursila ilaykum la majnoon. This messenger that was sent to you people is crazy. We are the gods. What is he talking about? Musa still, now you see, he moved from just asking the people around him to pay attention to what's going on. He's personally attacking Musa. Have you not seen politically today that personal attacks has been the weapon of a certain candidate? Every time anybody points out something that is fact, the first thing is he will attack your character, he'll attack your spouse, he'll attack your father, he'll attack anything, personally. Musa did not respond to the personal attack. He continued speaking. قَالَ رَبُّ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. He is the Lord of the east and the west and everything else in between. Somehow that kind of struck Fir'aun in a very, very, very rough way. He was very upset about that last statement. And it may very well be because he feels that he is the one who's in charge of Egypt. Remember I said to people, أَلَيْسَ لِي مُلْكُ مُصْرَ وَهَذِهِ الْأَنْهَارِ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِي. Egypt belongs to me. The dominion of it belongs to me. This river that flows beneath my feet, I'm the one who caused this. You see, because he does not only think he's a god, he thinks that the khair belongs to him. So if Musa says, قَالَ رَبُّ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ, everything else you see on the land belongs to Allah. From where the sun rises, where the sun sets. Egypt, the Nile, everything. He stood up and he said, قَالَ لَإِنِ اتَّخَذْتَ إِلَهًا غَيْرِي لَأَجْعَلَنَّكَ مِنَ الْمَسْجُونِينَ. If you take any god besides me, I will imprison you. So now he's physically threatening Musa. So Musa says, قَالَ أَوْلَوْ جِئْتُكَ بِشَيْءٍ مُبِينٍ. Even if I bring you a proof that Allah sent me, قَالَ فَأْتِ بِهِ إِن كُنْتَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. Bring your proof if you're truthful. So Musa showed him the proof. فَأَلْقَى عَصَاهُ فَإِذَا هِيَ ثُعْبَانٌ مُبِينٌ. So Musa threw down his staff and it became a serpent. وَنَزَعَ يَدَهُ فَإِذَا هِيَ بَيْضَاءُ لِلنَّاظِرِينَ. And he pulled out his hand and became bright, shiny white. Oh, so now Fir'aun is a little impressed. قَالَ لِلْمَلَإِ حَوْلَهُ إِنَّ هَذَا لَسَاحِرٌ عَلِيمٌ. He turns again to the people around him, the advisors. This is a very skillful sorcerer. And he's here to drive you out of your land. Okay, so this is where it's here for. Well, let's challenge him. And then you know, of course, what happened between Fir'aun and the sorcerers. And then they lost. They became Muslim. What did Fir'aun do? Fir'aun killed them. Yeah, see? They start first by character assassination. When that doesn't work, they're going to threaten you physically. If the threat doesn't work, they're going to harm you physically. And unfortunately, one of our ai got physically harmed for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of threats are being hurled at Muslims this political season. Let us ban all Muslims from coming to the United States. Let us administer a Sharia test. Every Muslim should be tested. One of them said, if a Muslim believes in Sharia, what should we do? We should deport them. See, these are the people around the circle that are giving ideas to the tyrant. Well, in this case, the aspiring tyrant. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, none of you will sit home and let that happen. You see, this is what happens. They have people advising them. They themselves don't have all the bright ideas. They themselves do not come up with everything. They are advisors that give them this idea. Okay. Now, in face of that tyrant, Musa is facing great adversity. Now comes someone else who stands up for the truth. So Fir'aun is thinking about what to do about this issue. Musa came, he brought these things, and our magicians lost. Now people are going to think that he's right. You know what the people around are telling Musa? وَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْ قَوْمِ فِرْعَوْنَ. This is in Surah Al-A'raf. They said to Fir'aun this. And sometimes, by the way, it's the advisors that instigate the tyrant to do something. They said to Fir'aun, أَتَذَرُ مُوسَى وَقَوْمَهُ لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَيَذَرَكَ وَآلِهَتَكَ. Are you going to let Musa and his people spread mischief? They're going to corrupt the ideas of people, and while they already abandoned you and your God. See, they're telling, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to stop Islam? The message of Islam. You see, because people sometimes they will easily see the truth in Islam. A lot of Americans can see the truth in Islam. But someone is always afraid, if the truth spreads, we're going to lose everything we have. You need to stop it. So they're asking, what are you going to do about it? قَالَ سَنُقَتِّلُ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ. Then we will kill their children, their male. وَاسْتَحْيُوا نِسَاءَهُمْ. And then we will enslave the women. وَإِنَّا فَوْقَهُمْ قَاهِرُونَ. We will dominate over them. So you have to look at what Fir'aun and his advisors are saying, and look at what people are planning for us politically. They're planning the exact same. They're attacking us and our religion. They say, let's get rid of them here. Or now, they've bumped it up a notch. Let's start physically harming them. But there's always a voice of reason. So if that is Fir'aun's plan, in fact, Fir'aun wanted to kill Musa himself. So in Surah Zukhruf, he says, actually, sorry, it's not Zukhruf, Surah Ghafir. وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ ذَرُونِي أَقْتُلْ مُوسَى وَلْيَدْعُ رَبَّهُ. Fir'aun said, let me kill Musa myself. See? He wanted to make such a great example. He didn't even order somebody to kill Musa. He says, leave me, let me take care of this one myself. أَقْتُلْ مُوسَى وَلْيَدْعُ رَبَّهُ. Let him call his Lord. إِنِّي خَشِيتُ أَنْ, you know what? إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَنْ يُبَدِّلَ دِينَكُمْ. He says, I'm afraid he's going to change your religion. أَوْ أَنْ يُظْهِرَ فِي الْأَرْضِ الْفَسَادِ. Or he's going to spread corruption. You see, I fear he's going to change your ways. And he's going to spread corruption, so I should kill him. Musa did not respond again to that physical threat. He only sought refuge in Allah. وَقَالَ مُوسَى إِنِّي عُذْتُ بِرَبِّي وَرَبِّكُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ مُتَكَبِّرٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِيَوْمِ الْحِسَابِ. Brothers and sisters, we must all seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we face this type of difficulties. Now comes courage, brothers and sisters. Courage. And I hope that every single one of us will find this courage in them. وَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَكْتُمُ إِيمَانَهُ. There was a man, a believer, from the family of Fir'aun that concealed his faith. This is in Surah Ghafir. Subhanallah. This man is from the family of Fir'aun. He's listened to Musa. He's convinced of what Musa is doing. He's seen the powers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He believes. But he concealed his faith. Now why would he conceal his faith? No, Fir'aun, would kill. Who did Fir'aun kill first because of their faith? Remember the magicians? He killed them. Because he said, oh, you believe in Musa before I give you permission? So he must be one of you. Then I'm going to have you all crucified. Besides the magicians, who else has Fir'aun killed? His wife Asya. Because she believed, she got killed too. The one that helped raise Musa. So Fir'aun is a killer. He has already ordered the deaths of many children of Bani Israel. He's killed babies, so killing a grown person is very easy. So this man concealed his faith. But Allah is showing you the courage of this man and why we should take lesson from this man. You and I are not Musa. We don't have the hujjah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not supported by miracles. You have to think about a regular person. وَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ. This man is a believer. مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. From people Fir'aun. يَكْتُمُ إِيمَانَهُ. Then he asked Fir'aun and the people a question. أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَن يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ. Are you going to kill a person just because they say Allah is their Lord? وَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. And He's already brought you the clear proofs from His Lord. So you're trying to kill somebody because of what he believes and because of what he says. Yarhamakallah. And he didn't just say that frivolously. He actually showed you a proof of it. That what he believes, he strongly believes it because he has hujjah, he has authority for it. SubhanAllah. And you've all seen it, you know. And he's just being a voice of reason. He says something very interesting to Fir'aun. وَإِن يَكُ كَاذِبًا فَعَلَيْهِ كَاذِبُ. If Musa is a liar, then the lie is on him. Why do you worry about it if Musa is a liar? وَإِن يَكُ صَادِقًا. But if he is truthful, يُصِبُكُمْ بَعْضُ الَّذِي يَعِدُكُمْ. Then you will be stricken by what he's warning you that will befall you. If he's speaking the truth, we're going to get punished. So think about it, he's saying. Look at the courage of this man. Fir'aun is killing anyone that believes in Musa. Fir'aun has threatened to kill Musa. So anyone who speaks in favor of Musa and Islam is going to get killed. But this man did not keep his mouth shut. He concealed his faith, but he did not conceal his tongue. Allahu Akbar. Our freedom of speech, brothers and sisters, is one of the most valuable rights in this country. Unfortunately, in Muslim countries, you don't have freedom of speech. You say anything the administration doesn't like, you're going to be in jail. You're going to get killed the same way. You're going to disappear. You're lucky if your family doesn't disappear with you. It is true. We've seen it happen. But in America, that's not going to happen to you, right? The administration is not going to make you disappear overnight. Absolutely. You and I should speak up more about the truth and use the hikmah of this man to be objective when you speak the truth. Be very objective. He did not come and say, Fir'aun, what are you talking about? Islam is the right religion. What do you know? He asked him a question. Are you going to kill him just because he believes what he believes? Subhanallah. Look at the hikmah of this man. How to deal with a tyrant. And then he tells him, if he's wrong, he's wrong. But if he's right, we should all be concerned. And the man said, Inna Allah la yahdi man huwa musrifun kadhab. Allah will not guide those who are transgressing liars. Did not accuse Fir'aun, but just saying that, hey, you know, if we want to be guided, we cannot be transgressors. Okay? And then he reminded the people of something very important, which all of us in America should remember, because we too feel the same. He said, Ya qawmi lakumul mulkul yawma dhahirina fil ard. He says, oh my people, today We are dominant. We have the power. We are the superpower. What do we say today in America? How do we rank ourselves against all nations? We're not just superpower. There's a new superlative we give ourselves. Who pays attention to what politicians say? We are the greatest what? Nation that ever existed. How long? I mean, look at what we're saying. We don't even know the other people that existed before. Who built the towering buildings in Petra? Who built that? I'm sure they felt they were great, right? When Thamud was وَيَنْحِتُونَ مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا, they were carving palaces from rock. I'm sure they thought they had a superpower. What did Ad say? Man ashaddu minna quwwa. There's no superpower than us. We say today, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. We are saying we are the greatest nation ever lived. See how short our memory of history is? The Romans thought they were the greatest. They did not. How can we be the greatest? There are so many poor people in this nation. The DC, homeless people. How can we be the greatest where there are tens of millions don't even have health care? How can we be the greatest when kids go to school starving every day? How? What is the measure of greatness? You know, people don't even assess this. What's the measure of greatness? Yes, are we great because we have nuclear weapons? Lots of them. Is that what makes a nation great? How can we be the greatest nation when we have, how much is our debt? How much is the debt now? Trillions. $21 trillion. No other nation has that debt. What we? And what happens when we can't pay that debt? Yeah. Until we can print no more, and then we run out of trees to print money, and then we're so much in debt, and the entire world collapses. Yeah. This is what is happening. We are saying this. So this man is reminding people, hey, today you might feel like you're the superpower, you are dominant. But don't forget what will happen to us if Allah's punishment comes. You're threatening to kill Musa. He didn't do anything to you. He only asked for Bani Israel to leave. Muslims are not doing anything to anybody. And yet, you know, people are always making Islam the threat, Muslims the threat. So this is part of the political game that, you know, when people want something from the people, they have to find an enemy to defend the people against, you see. So if you notice today in politics, there's one candidate that is saying, I will protect you from Islam, terrorists, illegal immigrants, everybody. I'm going to protect you from everybody. That's what they're saying. You see? So this man is showing us you cannot just sit quietly. Everyone is an outsider, including the Muslims that live in America are actually outsiders because they believe in Sharia. Well, all Christians believe in Sharia too. They have the 10 commandments. They have so many laws. They have more laws than we do. Right? All the Jews believe in Sharia too. They just don't even understand the meaning of Sharia. We'll have another lecture about that, in fact, maybe next month. So this is what courage is, brothers and sisters, to speak the clear truth when it matters. And I would like to make us all remember that we did have such a voice. How did you feel when the Khan family walked up to the podium during the DNC convention and they spoke so eloquently in defense of Islam? How did you feel? Yes, I mean, that was courage. To go there and say, this is my religion. That we Muslims have sacrificed for the nation. We are part of the fabric of society. So, who are you? What have you sacrificed? My son shed blood for this country. That's what the father was saying. Khidr. He said, my son died for this country. Where was your son? In a nice Ivy League school, enjoying himself. Where were you when you escaped the draft? How many times? Yes. You escaped it with some bogus medical reason. 5 times. And yet you criticize me? You see, brothers and sisters, that is courage. That is courage. And after that man spoke, Khidr Khan and his wife, Ghazala, it tipped the scale for the campaign. From the very next day, his numbers started to tank. Can you imagine he was 5 points ahead? after his convention. After the Khan family spoke, he went 10 points down. So a 15-point turnaround for him. Everybody criticized him. Other Republicans did. From all around, even other military families, they spoke up against him to say, you're not allowed to speak against Gold Star families. You've gone, you see? But the Khan family excited courage in everyone else. They were not insulting anyone. They didn't go there to preach Islam. They just say, hey, let's think objectively here. Muslims are part of the fabric of society. We do everything else that everyone else is doing to make America great. Subhanallah. So I want us all to know that this is the time for courage. It is very disheartening to hear them slay an imam broad daylight in New York. That does not mean we should all stay home and pray. It means more of us should come out and pray. Because this courage will inspire other people. We should not change our message. We should continue to call people to Islam. We should continue to be nice to our neighbors. And Imam Jamal was right. You know, if your neighbors know you and you know your neighbors, that is also very helpful in the cause of Islam. You and I are the ambassadors of this religion. We're the ones that will show people what this deen is all about. We should be an example for people. And we should all stand up courage. That man did not stop speaking in that one sitting. He kept on talking, and Fir'aun now starts debating with him, saying, Ma urikum illa ma ara. You know, what I'm telling you is what I know. Wa ma ahdikum illa sabil al-rashad. I'm just guiding you to the right path. Subhanallah. The man kept warning him, Ya qawmi inni akhafu alaykum mithla yawm al-ahzab. He said, people, I fear we're going to get punishment like Allah punished people before. Like the people of Noor, the people of Ad, and people of Thamud. They've all been punished. And he still did not listen. He kept giving them da'wah till they even threatened him too with death. He says, وَيَا قَوْمِ مَالِي أَدْعُوكُمْ إِلَى النَّجَاةِ وَتَدْعُونَنِي إِلَى النَّارِ. I am calling you to success, Jannah, and you're calling me to hellfire. You're calling me to reject Allah, which I have no right to do. And I am just trying to guide you to the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He still did not listen. He says, فَسَتَذْكُرُونَ مَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. That statement of that man is really powerful. After he's done everything to convince them, and now he too is about to face danger, he said, you will see what I'm telling you about. And he said, I've left all my affairs with Allah. وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. I've just deferred everything to Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And what did Allah do? فَوَقَاهُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِ مَا مَكَرُوا. Say, Allah did what? Allah saved him. وَحَاقَ بِآلِ فِرْعَوْنَ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. Subhanallah. Allah saved him from the threat that was coming his way. You brothers and sisters, if you and I stand up with courage for the sake of Allah, and just use our freedom of speech, not to incite violence or anything or hatred, but just to speak objectively the truth and produce facts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of the rest. Do not fear. They're trying to intimidate us. We should not and will never be intimidated. I am not afraid for myself, to be quite honest. I'm serious, brothers and sisters. Yes, there's a risk every time maybe we walk out of the house. That's already been written. We should walk out of the house more. We should show that we're Muslims more. We should not be afraid. And Allah will come to our defense. Allah has written that some of us, this is our path to Jannah. You cannot escape that path. It's your path to Jannah. But this political season has shown the vitriol of some people, the hatred of some people. And again, they're already showing us that they are aspiring despots and tyrants. Let's not make any mistake about that. You know, it's very weird when you see a Muslim come on TV saying, I am in support of the candidate that is anti-Islamic. Anti-everybody, anti-immigrant, anti-Islamic, anti-women, anti-everything. Muslims come on TV, say they support that man. Yeah. How is that so? I don't know. It's very unfortunate. You have to ask, where's the Islam of this person? Yes, they're expecting money. You see, people, if you stand near Fir'aun, you feel you're going to get, wealthy too. Some of his wealth will rub off on you. See, that's the appeal, the attraction that, hey, join me, you'll become wealthy. And that's why Fir'aun has advisors. Who were the advisors of Fir'aun? The two major advisors, Haman and Qarun. Haman is the guy behind the ideas. Yes, and Qarun is the man behind the money. Subhanallah. You see how, again, the tyrant is weak. He doesn't have all the ideas. He doesn't have all the solutions. But he has people that are giving him that. And look at all the surrogates that go out, that promulgate the message of the tyrant. Oh yes, this guy's, and even if they say, well, this guy is a liar. No, what he said was not a lie. Well, this guy just killed somebody. No, he wasn't killing the person. He was just trying to resuscitate him. They say the opposite of exactly what he's doing. They go out to defend his lies arduously. You wonder what is going on here. He insulted the Gold Star family for 3 days. And they kept asking him, say, hey, why don't you change what it is you're saying? And he didn't. And then they still make excuses for him. It's amazing. You now have to see how Fir'aun got where he got. There are people that spread the message of the tyrant to keep him in power. So this election cycle has a lot of implications for all of us, brothers and sisters. And that is, you have to vote your conscience. If you stay home, that's fine. If you choose to stay home and not do nothing, that's okay. Don't complain about the outcome, though, of after November 12th. Do not complain about the outcome if you stay home. You should just take it as it is, seriously. But at least your vote can be your conscience. Say, you know what? I reject the platform of people that are against everybody. America is a melting pot. America is, is a nation that is built from patches of different other peoples. Okay? America is a collage of people. America is like the rainbow. You have different people, different ethnicities, ethnicities from different backgrounds, different places of the world. Everyone is an immigrant in America except the Native Americans. Everyone is an immigrant. It's the only country everyone is an immigrant. Subhanallah, have you noticed that? America is the only country where everyone is an immigrant except for the Native Americans. Yeah. Exactly. Indians actually moved here over time. All the countries you go there, okay, everybody's from there indigenously. This is the only country of immigrants. Why are we banning all the other immigrants from coming here? And somebody who's doing that, their forefathers were immigrants. In fact, his own father came here as an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. For Allah's sake, that's
what they call the nation of immigrants.
I don't know who we're talking about. I'm just saying. It's just weird that the type of hatred the person espouses for no reason. Yes. The tyrants intimidate. That's why Fir'aun told Musa, if you take a god besides me, I will put you in prison. I'll have you killed. I'll kill you myself. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, the Quran gives us stories of courage. That's not the only story of courage, but it's a big story of courage because he's a non-prophet that stood up to the biggest tyrant to say, think about it. What you're about to do isn't right. Think about it logically. What about Surah Yasin? The people, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلًا أَصْحَابَ الْقَرْيَةِ إِذْ جَاءَهُمُ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. What happened? Allah sent a messenger to these people. What happened to that one messenger? Did they accept him? Subhanallah. إِذْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِمُ اثْنَيْنِ فَكَذَّبُوهُمَا فَعَزَّزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ. Can you imagine the people have received 3 messengers? 1, no. 2, reject. 3, no. Then one man came from the center of the city, right? Yeah. You see? وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. There's always one person of courage that comes with just the reminder. People, follow the messengers. Why should the people follow the messengers? He tells them, اتَّبِعُوا مَنْ لَا يَسْأَلِكُمْ أَجْرًا وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. These messengers are not asking you for money. By the way, do you pay money to go listen to the tyrants today? If you want to join a rally, you have to buy a ticket to get to the rally. You pay money to go listen to the vitriol. Subhanallah. People pay money to listen. This man is saying the messengers don't ask you for any money. They're just giving you da'wah. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and they guided. And he says, وَمَا لِيَ لَا أَعْبُدُ الَّذِي فَطَرَنِي وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. Why shouldn't I worship the one? You see how this man also referenced Allah is the one that originated this universe. Why shouldn't I worship Allah, the one who created us all? Did they listen to him? What did they do to him? They killed him. You see, they always threaten us physically in the end. Our dear Imam and his assistant that lost their lives, may Allah give them Jannat al-Firdawsil A'la. They're casualty in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are casualty of courage. They stood up for the truth. None of us should fear, but we should be inspired by their sacrifice, inshaAllah. Look to the Quran. Allah has given us all the answers to all these difficult situations. Don't be afraid. Brothers and sisters, do not hide your Islam from work now because of what is happening. Do not hide your Islam from your neighbors. You are a Muslim and that is your identity. You are an American. America, that first amendment has what? Freedom of, not only speech, freedom of religion. And that's why we all flock to this nation. We are coming here in droves because we believe in those freedoms, right? It is now time to use that freedom. You have freedom to speak and you have freedom to worship. Allah is your Lord, you worship Allah. You have freedom to speak the truth. And that's it. And that will justify our stay here. Insha'Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. Inshallah, let's open the floor for 5 minutes of questions or any comments focused on courage as a Muslim, as a believer in this time, and how we are similar to previous times where Muslims face difficulties. In Mecca, we face difficulties. Musa faced difficulties. Noor faced difficulties. Every one of the great Anbiya faced difficulties where people rejected, they threatened, and they harmed them. And they never changed course. And that is the key thing. There's courage, a story of courage all over the Quran for each of the Anbiya. Any questions or any comments? Yes. Yes, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they did the same to him. They plotted to kill him too. After he gave the message, oh, people are attracted to this message. Well, let's say he's a magician. Let's say he's a poet. Let's say he's a soothsayer. Let's say he's crazy. That didn't work. Well, let's just say that Islam is a bad thing. That didn't work. Okay, well, let's kill him. See, exactly this is the same steps they take. That's exactly the steps that they take. وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. Yes, people are always plotting to do that. This is just, it's the life of believers. All believers had to suffer similarly in the hands of tyranny. But at least you and I can learn a lesson. We can see how a tyrant starts small. You know what's ironic about the end of a tyrant? The end of all tyrants is very interesting. They always die a miserable way, and sometimes in a very disgraceful way. For example, Fir'aun says, أَلَيْسَ لِي مُلْكُ مِصْرَ وَهَذِهِ الْأَنْهَارُ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِي. This river here belongs to me. I make it flow. Okay? But he himself cannot swim. He owns a river but cannot swim. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa to close the sea, and now he can't swim, and he's a god. Subhanallah. And when he was about to drown, that's when he said, آمنت أنه لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل. That's when he chose to believe. In the end, when he's about to drown. A God that can't swim. Too late. What happened to Qarun? He had a big parade. Yes, you know what? He decided to put all his wealth and make a parade just to show people how wealthy he is. Some people, they say there, Ya layta lana mithla ma utiya Qarun. We wish we had what Qarun has. Innahu ladhu hadhin azim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. Allah made the entire earth swallow him up, everything he had, in front of people. Subhanallah. Can you imagine? You got this, a treasure, so much treasure that a couple of young, strong men cannot even carry the keys to it. And all of it in front of everybody disappears. I bet you right now, if the Egyptian government decided to drill all over Egypt, they might find the wealth of Qarun underneath. They can pay off their debts. You see, Allah has ways of making them disappear quite easily. So, yes, Nimrod. In the Tower of Babel. Very simple. Allah has disgraced every tyrant. Just watch and see. How long does a human being live? 60, 70, 80 years, 100? They're not going to live forever. All this talk will go away. They will be, and by the way, they will be forgotten. And the only reason why we remember them is for their evil deeds. That's the only reason. Nobody remembers Pharaoh for anything good. I'm sure he did some good in his lifetime. Nobody does. We only remember him for the evil that he was. That's how Allah makes it, that they only remembered in the context of evil. You see? My dear respected brothers and sisters, all this political talk, don't let it get to your head. You have to have sabr. And you have to have steadfastness. You have to be steadfast. Because it's not easy to enter Jannah. Allah says you have to be tested. You have to suffer in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's so easy, then the prophets will have a nice time. Giving dawah will be very easy. It's not easy. It's actually very difficult. And in this political landscape, someone has attacked Muslimat in hijab. Just because, I recognize them. Some Muslimat nearly got killed, be run off the road. People speed up when they see a Muslimah crossing the street to hit her. We have camera footage of it. They've done this. Look at that businessman from Emirat. Remember the businessman? He came to America to seek medical treatment. He was in a hotel. He picked up a phone call and he made the mistake of speaking in Arabic. Someone from the hotel called, there's somebody here pledging allegiance to ISIS. He picked up and said, Assalamu alaikum. Oh my God. They called the authorities that he's pledging to ISIS. They came, they roughed him up. Just because he was speaking Arabic on the phone. He suffered so much, and then, we apologize. And then they asked, well, how did you know he was pledging to ISIS? How do you know somebody's pledging to ISIS? Yeah. He's speaking Arabic. See, this is the level of intimidation. So sometimes, if you're in a plane, please, brothers, do not speak too loudly Arabic. I'm just telling you that. You'll save yourself the trip. Because look, you've planned a trip to Disney World, or you planned a trip to, wherever it is, right? And you get your family going, and then you get into the plane, and the first thing is, I want to pray right now. I'm being funny, because some people say, I'm going to stand right now and say Allahu Akbar. People are so afraid. They're ready to jump off the plane. So at the same time, you don't have to be so flamboyant about how you profess your faith, because people, you see, they scared people. If you say Allahu Akbar, a very common term, if you say that, that's it. Everybody's dead. The plane, pilot, everybody's afraid if you say Allahu Akbar. But it's one of the best terms to say, Allahu Akbar. It's just unfortunate that violent extremists use it to commit acts of, by the way, that are haram in Islam. Let's be clear. Islam is against what it is they're doing. Yeah, so just use some hikmah. A family from the UK, they planned a trip to come to Disney World. They got to the airport. They're fine. They got aboard. They called their names. They singled them all out, and they couldn't fly, and they didn't even tell them why. Just because their names match something else. How many Muslims have been denied a flight, removed from a flight, denied a job? It's not easy. It doesn't mean you change your faith. It's very important, and I'll tell you why. If you're tested and you change your faith, or you stop practicing your faith, you failed in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the worst way to lose, because you're tested. Yes? That's another thing. Sikhs have been taking a bullet for Muslims a lot because of the turban. Yeah, it happened. It keeps on happening that a Sikh is always attacked because they think they are Muslim. You see, because now they fit the profile. You know, because Bin Laden liked the turban, then all of them are Bin Laden. See the mental association. You see, there's a lot of ignorance in America. You know, and it's very unfortunate. But don't be afraid, brothers and sisters. You cannot live in fear. You cannot live in fear. You should get ready to face whatever consequences for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by the way, Allah is watching. By this, Allah will elevate some of us to a level of righteousness. You know, inshallah. So find the courage in the story of Musa. Find the courage in the story of Ibrahim. Find the courage in the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His seerah has the most courage for us to live by it on a day-to-day basis. He suffered 13 years in Mecca. Day after day, suffering. So when we have the seerah lessons here on Friday evenings, pay attention to it. You subhanAllah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life is a prescription if you want to be successful in this world. No matter how difficult your life is, look to the seerah, you'll find the answers to your difficulty, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and protect every single one of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe from harm. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the vitriol of the tyrants of today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from not becoming part of the political football in America. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Islam a voice in the media. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the courage to speak truth to power. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to empower us with the ability to vote our conscience. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us victory this election. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to uplift the strife all over the world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to end the bloodshed amongst the Muslims. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise the iman of every single one of us and to make us a bright example for others and to bring the right message of Islam to the rest of the world, America being first. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us righteous leaders that will lead in a way that will bring more people to your deen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to one day make America a land of Muslims. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.